On the day of the wedding, my husband Felix wore mourning clothes to greet the bride. The red roses arranged for the wedding were replaced with white chrysanthemums. Felix once said I was his only one, but now he holds the ashes of his white moonlight, saying this is their wedding. I am on the verge of collapse. But he said, there's no way, all these years, only you resemble her the most and only you can fit into her wedding dress. As his words landed, I realized that the wedding dress I was wearing was the one Luna, Felix's deceased white moonlight, wore before being laid in the coffin. Looking at the face in the photo on the urn he was holding, which looked extremely similar to mine. The words I intended to ask for an explanation got stuck in my throat. I looked at Felix in disbelief. I never thought he would do something so extreme. After all, today was supposed to be our wedding, the wedding I had been looking forward to for 6 whole years, with all my relatives and friends sitting below. Yet, he was holding the urn of his white moonlight, wearing the suit she chose for him before she passed away, walking towards me step by step. He didn't care at all about how I would feel, nor did he pay attention to the mocking looks from others. In an instant, I felt like the wedding dress was piercing my entire body with thousands of needles. It tightly wrapped around me, making me feel suffocated. Iris, don't be petty with a dead person, okay? Felix said with red eyes, reaching out to take off the veil from my head and placing it on the urn. He said gently, she was very kind, if she knew you were like this, she would be upset. When he looked at me, his gaze was so cold that it made me uncomfortable. I looked around, and everyone sitting below seemed to have known about this beforehand, looking on indifferently, including my father. The wedding music started. I stood there in amaze, watching Felix walk to the priest with the urn in his arms. The priest was so moved that his eyes were red, and he even reached out to touch the urn, saying, "What a fortunate girl, to have someone love you so much even after you've passed away." He read the vows with deep emotion, especially when he came to the part about in sickness and in health. I heard the guests choking up. Felix, after the priest finished, said I do with a trembling voice. After the ceremony, the large screen behind played wedding photos one after another. They were of Felix and Luna. Even the video compilation of our relationship that was supposed to be shown was replaced with Luna's last wishes. 6 years of love never surpassed his deceased white moonlight. Felix placed the urn into a custom-made double coffin for their next life, watching as it was carried away from the wedding venue. Then he turned to look at me. Iris, this is just a ceremony, don't take it too seriously. I just want to continue my fate with Luna in the next life, but I will still marry you, that hasn't changed. When he reached out his hand, wanting to take me through the wedding process again, I shook him off. I took off the wedding dress that had been tightly constricting me and threw it into Felix's hands. I just love you, but that doesn't mean I'll demean myself. But before I could walk out the door, my father and relatives stopped me. Why are you making a fuss over a dead person? Felix is still going to marry you. Go back and finish the ceremony, don't embarrass me. I insisted on leaving, and at that moment, my father raised his hand and slapped me. Felix is a man of sentiment and loyalty, how many men in this world can do this? Marrying him is your blessing, don't throw a tantrum here. My relatives pointed at me and kept accusing me, saying I was immature, ungrateful, heartless, and that I didn't understand such a touching love story. My stepmother took the opportunity to belittle me, saying I was just like my mother, uncultured and ignorant of love. You understand? When you die and my father marries a third wife, I'll have him hold your urn at the wedding too, okay? Taking advantage of the moment when she was acting coy with my father, I pushed through the crowd and rushed into a taxi. Back at the house where I had lived with Felix for 6 whole years, my tears finally broke free. Every step felt so arduous. 6 years. For 6 whole years, I loved him wholeheartedly. He promised me countless times that he never saw me as anyone's substitute. He took me traveling all over the country, supported me in changing my major to design, a field I had never touched before. On my birthdays, he wished us peace and health year after year, to be together forever. In all these little moments, I couldn't find any trace of not being loved. But today's wedding nailed me harshly to the pillar of shame. I pushed open the bedroom door, intending to pack my things and leave this place. The day before the wedding, I stayed at a hotel, with nothing but my documents. But the moment I pushed open the door, I saw a mess on the bed. Torn underwear, stained sheets, and many used condoms scattered at my feet. A woman with hickeys was sleeping soundly on the wedding bed I had personally chosen, even wearing my nightgown and holding my cat. I screamed. At that moment, the woman slowly opened her eyes, glanced at me, and turned to sleep again. "Who are you?" I demanded. Annoyed by my noise, she pushed me away. "Who else could I be?" "Felix's lover." "Aren't you getting married today?" "Why are you back so early?" "I was planning to sleep a bit longer." She grabbed the clothes thrown on the floor and put them on. White shirt, jeans, and the white fabric underwear that was popular back then. Seeing these things, my hands kept trembling. Seeing this, she laughed even more arrogantly. "No way. Miss Iris, don't tell me you're about to get married and still don't know that you're just a substitute? You're just like me, a substitute for Felix's first love, Luna. These white shirts and jeans are all what Felix required us to wear. Aren't you the same?" She stood up excitedly, rushed to my wardrobe and yanked it open. A wardrobe full of white shirts, jeans, and white dresses formed a closed loop. She laughed so hard she couldn't stand straight. She opened my jewelry cabinet, looked at the items inside, and said to me, "All these are things from a dead person, and you seem quite happy using them." Things from a dead person. Inside were all the jewelry Felix had given me on my birthdays and anniversaries over the years. Could it be Luna's? My mental state was collapsing even more. But that woman found my reaction amusing. She opened her phone and pulled up Luna's old social media account. "Poor thing, see for yourself. By the way, your dear husband has found countless Luna substitutes over these 6 years. You can ask him about it." She left carrying the small calfskin bag Felix had just given her. I actually envied her. After all, she knew everything and just treated Felix as a tool to make money, while I had loved him wholeheartedly for 6 years. I sat dazed on the messy bed, scrolling through Luna's social media account. Under every video, there was a comment from Felix. He always rushed to be the first to comment. But in the 6 years I was with him, he never liked any of my posts. Sometimes, when I asked him to leave a comment, he would think I was being unreasonable and give me the silent treatment. But for Luna's, he might be late, but he always showed up. After watching over 200 videos, I learned that the priceless items in my jewelry box were all left by Luna specifically for Felix's next girlfriend. In her last video, she was already in the late stages of cancer, saying she was about to leave this world and wanted to give her things to Felix's next girlfriend. She hoped that the new girlfriend would take good care of Felix. But the comments under this video were mostly criticizing her because she said she hoped that when the new girlfriend wore the things she gave, Felix would think of her when looking at the new girlfriend. At that moment, my heart felt like it had been slashed open. Someone was constantly pouring salt on my open wound. The pain was so intense that I couldn't get up for a while. Now I finally understood why, among so many of Luna's substitutes, he chose me to marry. Because Luna said that only the one who could wear her favorite wedding dress could marry the person she loved most. I happened to fit into it perfectly, so Felix chose me. It was truly laughable. I got up, intending to take all my belongings and cut ties with Felix completely. Anyway, he had always been unwilling to officially register our marriage, so now it's even better. It wouldn't even count as a divorce, just a breakup. While packing my documents, I found a diary hidden in a compartment. It had a small lock on it. At that moment, my first instinct was to smash the lock open with something. The diary fell to the ground, and various girls' selfies spilled out. Without exception, they all had faces similar to Luna's. On the photo of me and Felix, there was a sentence written, "Only she resembles you the most. I've trained her to look more and more like you. I don't love her, I just see your shadow through her appearance." Behind each girl's selfie, he had written comments, "Nose most like yours. Mouth most like yours. face shape most like yours. And figure most like yours, and voice most like yours. At that moment, I felt that the man I had loved for 6 full years had completely rotted in front of me. He had found countless substitutes to piece together his love for her, and in doing so, he had utterly destroyed my 6 years. Felix, you are truly disgusting. After blocking and deleting him, I decided not to take any of the things he had given me. I took all my documents and my cat and left the villa. I carried my small bag back to the small apartment where I used to live with my mother. As soon as I pushed open the door, a strange cat hissed at my cat. I immediately picked up my cat, intending to drive away the strange cat, but then I heard a familiar voice. Iris, you are really heartless. I came back from abroad and the first thing I did was to help you clean up the house, waiting for you to come here to take refuge, and you actually want to drive away my cat. The man speaking was dressed in casual clothes, holding a spatula, wearing an apron, and carrying a bowl of braised pork rice as he leisurely walked out of the kitchen. I looked carefully for a while before realizing. Gavin. Why are you back? He was my childhood nemesis. After my parents died in a car accident, my mother practically raised him. After my mother passed away, on the day I got together with Felix, he had a fight with Felix and then went abroad to study. Every year on my birthday, he would return to the country on time to scold me and Felix, and his birthday wishes for me never changed over the years. Happy birthday, hope you find someone. When he took out a small cake from behind, I couldn't hold back my emotions. So there was still someone who remembered that today was my birthday. He made the dishes that my mother used to make for me on my birthdays. Each one looked pretty good. After I took a bite, he looked at me and said, "Have you been happy being someone else's substitute all these years?" I punched him. After all these years, he still spoke with such a foul mouth. No wonder we never got along since childhood. He always competed with me for first place in exams, and later even competed for my mother's affection. He pinched my cheek, and for some reason, I felt that his emotions were more of heartache than schadenfreude. His hand seemed to be trembling as he touched me. He pushed the longevity noodles in front of me. Quick, take a photo. I'll show it to Auntie later. I took a bite and made a peace sign at the camera, then asked puzzledly, which auntie? Gavin smiled, your mom. All these years, you spent your birthdays with Felix and didn't come back here much. I was worried that Auntie would miss you, so every time on your birthday, I would come here to make a lot of food and buy a birthday cake, telling Auntie that you were with someone you liked very much and not to worry. I said he was exaggerating. After finishing the noodles, I mocked him for a long time. He didn't explain anything, just quietly watched me, cutting the cake into pieces and placing them in front of me. Try it. The moment I put it in my mouth, I was extremely happy. Cheese flavor. All these years, because Felix said he didn't like this flavor, I basically ate the strawberry cake Felix bought every year on my birthday. And now I know that the strawberry cake was Luna's favorite, and Felix used to buy it for her on her birthdays. So, even wanting to eat a cake I liked on my own birthday was not allowed. At that moment, my phone kept ringing. After hanging up, I blocked all those numbers. In the following days, the world seemed to quiet down all at once. I quit my job and lay around at home, living off Gavin's generosity every day. Occasionally, when one of my writings got accepted, I would treat Gavin to a big drink. That day, one of my manuscripts sold for a high price, so I dragged Gavin to my favorite bar from before and ordered the drinks I used to love but didn't dare to order. When the bartender brought the drinks, he looked at my face and said in surprise, "Didn't Mr. Felix say you were allergic to alcohol? Can you drink?" Gavin's eyes widened, "You're allergic to alcohol? Who are you kidding? You're a modern-day Dionysus." Exactly. Friends who know me all know that I have a good tolerance for alcohol. I can drink a lot without getting drunk. But only Felix thought I was allergic to alcohol from the first day he met me. I used to think it was because of my delicate appearance that he misunderstood, but I enjoyed his special care and didn't bother to explain. Later, I found out that it was because Luna was allergic to alcohol. I waved my hand. Go ahead, I'm not allergic. That night, I drank to my heart's content. Halfway through, I heard a disgusting voice, and when I turned around, Felix was standing in front of me. But he was holding another substitute in his arms. Felix looked at me and only said, "You're drinking?" I nodded. "Yes, I am." "So what?" He sneered, "If you drink, I don't want you anymore." She never drinks. The moment he said that, my heart completely let go of any attachment. I stood up, intending to slap him, but he thought I was going to hug him and pushed me away directly. I fell into someone's arms, and when I saw his face, I said, "So handsome." Felix glanced at me disdainfully and said, "Don't cling to me anymore, remember that." As he walked out the door, the moment it closed, I grabbed Gavin and kissed him fiercely. The people around us were cheering, but Gavin only said, "If you're using me to relieve your boredom, you'll have to face the consequences." "Sis. I know. I just think you're handsome, what's wrong with giving you a kiss?" He carried me out of the bar horizontally and gently placed me in the passenger seat. On the way back, my phone was ringing like crazy. I answered the call and held it to Gavin's ear. Felix's urgent voice came through. "Who allowed you to kiss Gavin? Who permitted you to get in his car?" I sneered, "I'll get in whoever's car I want, I'll kiss whoever I want. Who are you to control me? I'm your husband. If I don't control you, who will?" I asked Gavin groggily. "He says he's my husband? Since when do I have a husband?" Gavin took the phone. "You don't have a husband, he's crazy," and hung up the call directly. Back home, I rushed into the bathroom and vomited for a long time before sobering up a bit. When I came out, I saw the messy lipstick marks on Gavin's face from my kisses, and I felt a bit guilty. Pretending to have blacked out, I asked whose lipstick marks were on his face. He just gave a mocking laugh and then went into the kitchen to bring out a bowl of hangover soup. "A dog bit me, a magical little dog that wears lipstick. When you sober up, I'll take you to see it." I burst out laughing, spraying the soup in my mouth. After laughing awkwardly a couple of times, I took out my phone to check and ease the awkward atmosphere. But as soon as I opened my phone, there were messages from an unknown number and a bunch of calls from unknown numbers. "Iris, if you keep fooling around like this, we'll have even less chance in the future. It's okay if you drink, I accept it, you are you. Can you come back? I miss you so much. I know it was unfair to treat you as a substitute for my ex-girlfriend. I know I was wrong. Where are you? I'll come pick you up, okay?" It was all from Felix. But I wasn't in the mood to reply. At that moment, a call came in. As soon as I answered, it was Felix's voice. "I'm downstairs at your house, I've come to pick you up." I have to say, his words startled me. I walked to the balcony and looked down, indeed seeing Felix's car. He was standing next to it, staring straight at me. On the phone, he said, "Come down, let's talk properly." "There's nothing to talk about. Go find your substitutes. You're dirty, I don't want you anymore." I hung up the phone, and he kept calling frantically. I blocked him. But he came straight to the door. The moment the door opened, seeing me in pajamas standing side by side with Gavin, his pupils were shaking. "Come home with me." The moment he reached out to grab me, Gavin punched him. But Felix still didn't let go. Just as they were about to fight, Felix's assistant called. He glanced at me and then answered, "What's up?" The assistant on the other end was excited, his voice amplified several times. "Felix, Miss Luna might not be dead." At that moment, Felix's obsession with me diminished significantly. Or rather, it disappeared instantly. A smile appeared on his face, one I hadn't seen in years. Without waiting for the assistant to say more, he rushed off immediately. When his car started, it kicked up a cloud of exhaust, and as I watched from the balcony, I felt a sourness in my eyes. Gavin handed me a tissue, which I pushed back. "I'm not crying." When I turned around, he saw that my eyes weren't even red, and he was a bit surprised. "Are you so sad that you can't even cry?" I shook my head. It was because I realized that after seeing the smile on Felix's face when he learned that his white moonlight might not be dead, I completely let go. I didn't love him anymore. From beginning to end, even all the good things about Felix in those 6 years, I didn't love anymore. I just felt that I had been delayed for 6 years. And in these 6 years, what I received was actually what Luna had enjoyed, and it had nothing to do with me, Iris. When I understood this, I said to Gavin, in the future, I want to find someone who is wholeheartedly devoted to me and has only me in his heart. Brother, wish me luck. Oh, you just kissed me and now you want me to wish you luck in finding another boyfriend. How vicious of you. I looked at him angrily and said, you don't like me anyway. Didn't you say when we were kids that you didn't like my noisy type? That was when I was young and didn't know better. How could I know that when I grew up, I would like you? He was arguing, but then he couldn't hold back his words, looking at me, what's wrong? Why aren't you arguing anymore? I stared at him blankly. To be honest, after knowing him for so many years, I really didn't feel that he liked me. But just now, when he spoke, he was too sincere. Hey, what's with that look? You doubt me? Gavin turned and rushed back to his old home. Half an hour later, he brought back a stack of diaries and many unsent gifts. See for yourself. Like the other diary, Gavin's diaries were full of sketches of me. From the first time I met him, to the night before he went abroad, when we were chatting, and I was imagining marrying Felix, with my profile. Under each portrait, there were his blessings for me. I wish you get into the university you like, but it's best not to date in college, I might not be able to wish you well. I wish you have a good job, so Auntie won't have to worry every day that you'll end up homeless after being abandoned by a man like she was. Are you blind? You love that guy to death, but from a man's perspective, he's completely treating you as someone else. It's okay, as long as you like him, I can't wish you well, but if he ever bullies you, I'll beat him up. As I read, tears flowed uncontrollably. There were also photos he took every year when he came back to celebrate my birthday in this house. One by one, from the three of us, me, my mother, and him, to later just the two of us, and finally, only him. He really came back every year. I laughed while crying, cried while laughing, feeling for a moment that I had received someone's entire devotion. Actually, if you had said earlier, I might not have chosen Felix. Gavin looked at the time, it's not too late now. When he knelt on one knee, I was stunned. He said proudly, I've liked you for half my life, can't I at least propose to make myself happy? That day, he didn't have a ring, and I didn't respond, but my heart had already been swayed. Gavin and I watched a very long movie, and when I woke up, it was already afternoon. I opened my phone to order takeout and saw that the trending topics had exploded. I clicked in. The title boldly read, Beijing's elite young master violently beats white moonlight and her boyfriend. Beijing's elite young master? I had a feeling, so I opened the video. The man in the video, although very blurry, I still recognized him. It was Felix, who had rushed to see his white moonlight last night. He had even changed into a brand new suit and appeared in front of his white moonlight Luna with a bunch of gifts. But Luna, even from the blurry footage, it was clear that she was pregnant. Her belly was so big that she looked like she was about to give birth. The person next to her? I zoomed in on the picture several times and was suddenly stunned. That person was Felix's business partner, Kenny. I had always heard that he and his wife were very loving, but in the 6 years I was with Felix, I had never met his so-called wife. Felix had told me that Kenny's wife was busy abroad and hadn't come back. At the time, I didn't suspect anything. But now it seems that Luna faked her death here and directly married Kenny. I was enjoying the gossip so much that I subconsciously grabbed the burger Gavin had just ordered. You. Gavin sighed, took out the fries, and ate them while leaning over. When he saw the news, he was also shocked. After all, faking one's death was something we had only seen in novels or web dramas. To have it happen in real life was indeed frightening. Moreover, in the video, Luna was completely on Kenny's side, even biting Felix. There was none of the reluctant love for Felix that she expressed in her video account. And this trending topic kept going, even bringing my wedding day into the spotlight. The netizens' comments were as satisfying as if they were laced with poison. Embarrassing the current girlfriend, at her wedding, he holds a funeral for his ex-girlfriend, only to find out that the ex-girlfriend is having a child with his business partner. Oh my God, there are still such lunatics these days. He probably thinks he's very devoted and touching. I feel so sorry for this girl, but the urn that the crazy guy was holding probably didn't contain ashes but milk powder. As I read, I couldn't help but laugh. Not long after, I received a call from the police. Hello, Mr. Felix said you are his girlfriend, so we're notifying you to come to the police station immediately for mediation between both parties. Please don't be late. Good things don't come to me, but mediation does? When Gavin and I arrived, Felix was sitting with his head down, not saying a word, with injuries all over his face and body. Kenny was sitting aside, holding Luna, looking proud. I pushed the door open, and after the police explained my identity, Luna looked me up and down, then gave a malicious smile. She said to Felix, "You found a substitute who looks so much like me, so stop being so obsessed, okay? I'm married to Kenny, and we have a child. How could I possibly go back with you?" After saying that, she turned to me and said, "You've been a substitute for so long, can't you even control your own man? As if you've controlled him. Doesn't your man also look for women behind your back?" After I retorted, she stood up angrily, saying I was talking nonsense. Even Felix looked at me with doubt. I actually didn't know much about Kenny, but I saw on the trending topics that he had women. Just a second before I came, Kenny was exposed online for pretending to be single and deceiving people, and not just one, claiming he had no wife. I found the trending topic and showed it to them. At this point, Luna looked at Kenny angrily. Kenny initially tried to argue, but those women were willing to come to the police station to give statements, so he had to admit it. And because of Kenny, the mediation was finally successful. As I walked out of the police station, Felix grabbed me. "Don't go. Come home with me, okay?" I shook off his hand. "I know you're still angry, but since you were willing to come here to help me, it proves that you still have feelings for me." Felix tried to put the ring I had thrown away back on my finger. He held my hand tightly, forcing it on, causing a large scratch on my hand. I tried to pull my hand back, but he pulled it again. After struggling for a while, Gavin appeared. He was holding some Odin, handed it to me, and then pushed Felix away. She came to the police station because the police called, and both she and I wanted to see the drama. It has nothing to do with whether she still has feelings for you. Besides, isn't her white moonlight still alive? And she's pregnant. I see she's about to break up with her current one, so you can just marry her. As he spoke, Luna was pushed away by an furious Kenny. She stumbled and fell to the ground. In no time, a pool of blood spread out. At this moment, Felix, who had always claimed to love Luna deeply and had found countless substitutes over 6 years, frowned, covered his nose, and stepped back far away, disgusted by the smell of blood. When Luna asked him for help, he shouted sternly, "Don't you have a husband? Why are you calling me?" Kenny walked over, took a look, and said, "You're so dramatic all day long. It's just a fall, you won't die. I'll call a cab for you to go to the hospital. Don't dirty my new sports car." Gavin and I left early while they were making a scene. By the time Felix realized, Gavin's car had already started. He chased after us for a while but gave up. For these 6 years, I always thought Felix was different from these Beijing elite young masters. After all, he seemed really good. But just now, I realized they are all the same. To them, women are just accessories. Stealing someone else's favorite accessory excites them, but they don't necessarily like the accessory itself, they just enjoy the superiority of taking something from others. Felix collecting white moonlight substitutes seems like he's devoted to one person, but it's actually the same logic. He just likes this type. After figuring it all out, I couldn't help but laugh out loud. "You're not scared, are you?" I shook my head. I looked at Gavin and said, "You've liked me for so many years, have you never been attracted to girls who look like me?" Gavin shook his head. "I like you as a person, not just your appearance or your figure. It's the complete you." "Stop the car." Hearing my words, he nervously asked what was wrong but still stopped the car. "Nothing, I just think it's not safe to kiss you while driving." After he stopped, I kissed him, and that night, we officially confirmed our relationship. The next morning when I woke up, I found that Gavin wasn't in the house, but the food was already set on the table. After washing up and eating, I sent him a message asking where he had gone. I waited for a long time without a reply. After a while, the door opened. I saw him carrying a lot of groceries and 2 bottles of red wine, and I immediately smiled. Say what you will, he really had the vibe of a house husband. I reached out to take them, but he dodged, saying it was a secret. I hummed and went back to my room to write. I had mentioned my writings to Felix a few times before, but he never bothered to read them. He would just glance at the summary and say that what I wrote was trash without any substance, that only idle old men and women would read it. Later, when one of my pieces was bought for its rights, I told him. He asked if that person was blind to have taken a liking to my book. So now, I didn't dare to mention it to anyone. Therefore, when I opened the website and saw Gavin walking over from behind, I subconsciously closed the page. But Gavin calmly said, "I know what you write. Didn't you tell me your pen name once when we were kids?" "That's my pen name." Gavin nodded. Then he smiled and said, "I'll give you a reward." As he said that, I received a gift. When I clicked on it, it turned out to be from a longtime fan who had been supporting me all these years. And his bookshelf was full of my books. "Your new book is well written, keep it up." After saying that, he handed me a piece of cake, saying he made it himself. I casually stuck my fork in and felt something hard, thinking it was some kind of filling he put in. But when I put it in my mouth, I realized it was a ring. I took it out and exchanged looks with him for a few moments. He said somewhat helplessly, "I thought you would at least take a few more bites to get to the ring, but you found it right away." He had bought a diamond ring with a small crown, and our names were engraved on it. "Don't worry, this isn't a proposal. I just always wanted to give it to you. Our previous relationship wasn't suitable for it, but now, you can take it." "Then when will you propose?" I asked, and he looked at me in surprise. Then he grinned foolishly, "Whenever you want, it's fine. Then you have to think carefully. I want an unexpected proposal." After saying that, he kissed me and left, looking like he was seriously going to think about it. At that moment, there was a knock on the door. I went to open it and saw Felix standing outside. "Won't you invite me in?" "No need, my boyfriend is home." Hearing my words, he looked at me mockingly. "I know better than you how many men have been around you these years. If I don't want something, would anyone else want it?" As he finished speaking, Gavin came out. "You're the one nobody wants, and you come here to seek attention. Are you sick?" With a bang, the door closed. Felix saw the hickey on Gavin's neck and immediately lost it, knocking on the door non-stop, demanding an explanation from me. But that night, until very late, Gavin and I didn't pay any attention to him. I don't know when he finally left. Only after he was gone did I find that he had blocked me on all his accounts. Several accounts that I hadn't noticed before all showed that I was blocked. But he left one video account open to me, and he would post videos on time every day, basically showing his extravagant life after leaving his ex-girlfriend. But I didn't even have the mood to block him anymore. I just glanced at it and went out with Gavin to pick out things needed for the wedding. We planned to hold the wedding on my mother's birthday, as if she was watching over me. So we were very busy and didn't pay any attention to Felix. That day, while Gavin and I were choosing the 3 golds, we ran into Luna. She had lost her child, but she still maintained a good figure. She still liked to wear all white, with sneakers, following behind a much older, unfamiliar man. Pointing at an expensive set of jewelry, she wanted the man to buy it for her. At that moment, she turned and saw me. While I was trying on something, she quickly walked over and slapped me. I didn't react in time, but instinctively slapped her back. What are you doing? Did you bewitch Felix? I'm his white moonlight. I've taken the initiative to come back to him, but he ignores me. Saying this, she angrily tried to hit me again. I grabbed her hand and pointed at her, saying, "You faked your own death and messed it up, and now you're blaming me? He loved you so much before, can't you try harder? And since you look down on me as a substitute, why do you come to me?" As she spoke, she started crying. She took out her phone and recorded a video, not only filming her slapped face but also using photo editing to make it look even redder, and sent it to Felix. I'm telling you, don't be smug. Even though he's avoiding me, he still loves me. I've already told him that you hit me. If you dare, don't leave. Gavin and I exchanged a look, and he smiled. I'd like to see what you can do. If you say not to leave, then we won't. Honey, let's go to the cafe across the street and wait while having coffee. I followed Gavin, and we went straight to the cafe across the street to have coffee. Luna came over, ordered without saying a word, and expected us to pay for her. I glanced at her and left directly, saying we didn't know her. In the end, she had to pay for herself. After waiting for a full 30 minutes, the man appeared. But he didn't look like he was coming to confront us. Instead, he bought a large bouquet of roses. I said to Gavin, probably coming to woo her, maybe to perform a grand reconciliation in front of us. But Gavin shook his head. I don't think so. He said confidently and then suggested a bet. Whoever loses has to write a long love letter and read it aloud at the wedding. I agreed to the proposal at the time. At this moment, when Luna saw Felix, she immediately rushed out and leaned on him aggrievedly. Why did you take so long to come? You don't know that the substitute you found dared to hit back. She's just my substitute, how dare she hit me? As she spoke, her tears of grievance fell. I watched in shock. I also understood why she had made Felix unable to forget her for so long. Such disgusting behavior is indeed unforgettable. But Felix didn't show any concern. Instead, he looked in the direction of Gavin and me, paused for a long time, and said, "You hit her?" This "you hit her" took Luna a while to react to. Finally, she realized that he was asking her. She nodded stammeringly and then said, "I was just angry." Why, even though I've come back, do you still keep photos with her? Clearly, we are the ones who love each other the most. Slap. A very loud slap. It was from Felix, and it landed heavily on the woman's face. Luna was stunned for a moment. Perhaps because she had never been treated like this in all the years she had known Felix, she couldn't react for a while. When tears fell, she pounded on Felix's chest, asking over and over why he was treating her this way. But Felix, holding the bouquet of roses, walked step by step towards me. When he knelt on one knee, I felt numb. I thought that if this had happened in any of the 6 years I was with him, I would have cried with excitement. But now, I just felt disgusted. Yet, he was self-moved, crying while taking out the letter he had prepared and starting to read it. At that moment, both Gavin and I thought that the letter-reading part of the wedding could be cancelled because it was really embarrassing. Forgive me, Iris. I know I was wrong from the beginning. I shouldn't have done that at our wedding. I thought it was my way of expressing deep affection, but I didn't expect to hurt you so deeply. I really know I was wrong. I won't do it again. I'll give you a great wedding to help you regain the face you lost. As he said this, he took out the ring he had prepared and was about to put it on my finger. This time, I slowly extended my hand. On it was the wedding ring Gavin had given me, large and sparkling, and it fit me perfectly. He stared at it in disbelief. Stop joking like this. I know you and he are just childhood friends. If there was really a possibility, you would have been together long ago. Why wait until today? You're just using him to make me jealous. I took out a few remaining wedding invitations from my pocket and handed them to him, saying, "Actually, I didn't want to invite you, but since you don't believe me, I have to invite you to witness my happiness." This time, no one will mourn for a dead white moonlight at my wedding. After I said that, he was almost collapsing, trying to hold me back and not let me go. Felix. I've had enough of being a substitute for 6 years. Even if I had countless choices, I wouldn't choose you again. After saying that, I took Gavin's arm and left. On the wedding day, many people came. But I didn't invite my father and those relatives, only friends we knew came. When the ceremony ended, Felix sent a video. If you don't stop the wedding, I'll kill myself. I took a photo with Gavin on our honeymoon and replied, whatever. After returning from the honeymoon, I learned that Felix had been hit by a car and was paralyzed from the waist down. He had been abandoned by the Fu family and sent to a nursing home. As for Luna, she eventually married a very old wealthy businessman. It was said that she faked her death back then because she learned that Felix wouldn't inherit the family business, so she didn't want to be with him and came up with that plan, then turned around and married Kenny. Gavin and I were listening to classmates gossiping, and I looked at my belly. In a few months, we'll see the baby. I'm a bit excited. Gavin smiled, me too.